Welcome to episode number 172 of the Beyond Social Media Show, the podcast for marketing, advertising, public relations, and communications professionals. We're recording live on YouTube, January 26, 2017. Lots of topics to talk about this week. Job hunting, bait and switch, blocking constituents, forced fandom, mistrusted Facebook. Welcome to the Netherlands, cute zoos, recording forgotten lives, Uber for trucking, App Store reviews revisited, and much, much, much more. This week and from here on out, we are going to flip our format and start with the best and follow it up with the worst. So we're saving the worst to last, starting with the best. I think everybody wants to hear some upbeat news these days, so that's what we're doing. BL, you have the honors. Kick it off. What was the best story of the week?
Well, I really think that the best thing that we saw this week was a video from the Netherlands welcoming Trump, and they said they're going to do it in their own words. And it came to me a few days ago from my friend Michael Sussel, and since Monday, it's had more than 10 million views. And basically, the video says the whole world was watching the inauguration of the 45th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and we realized here in the Netherlands it's better for us to get along, so we want to introduce our tiny country to him in a way that will probably appeal to him most. And then it goes on hilariously. It says, we speak Dutch. It's the best language in Europe. We've got all the best words. All the other languages fail. Danish, total disaster. German, not even a real language. It's totally fake. It says, we have our own wall. It's a great wall we built to protect us from all the water from Mexico. Nobody builds oceans better than we do. We made Mexico pay for it. And then the punchline is, we got the best tax evasion system God ever created. You'll pay nothing. So it's from a show called Zondag met Lubach, which is Sunday with Lubach, and it's hosted by someone named Arjun Lubach. And they roll out the huge red carpet for him in a narration inspired by his style. And there are plenty of jabs at Trump and his policies, but they also make fun of the Netherlands themselves. And you have to hear it. It's really very funny. So, but we have ponies. We have the best ponies in the world. You can ride them. You can date them. You can grab them by the pony.
Very good. Very good. So, not as funny, but very, very touching. This story I was planning on talking about a couple of episodes back, but couldn't fit it in. But it's a Washington Post article by Tara Ramampur, I think. Yeah,
Ooh,
I probably. Yeah, I already, just stop while you're ahead, David. Stop while you're behind. Anyway, the story is about a woman named J. Newton Small who moved her father into a assisted living or retirement home in Maryland. She was given, upon admitting her father to this home, a 20-page questionnaire to fill out. She moved him into the home because he has Alzheimer's, and his fading memory and agitated behavior made it hard for caregivers to understand his needs, and she had a hunch that that wasn't the best approach, a 20-page questionnaire. She figured health professionals wouldn't have the time to read 20 pages on each new patient.
Boy, is she right.
Yeah. She was a reporter for Time magazine, so she put her professional skills to work and wrote her father's story for them, which included a bit about how he was once a part-time driver for Winston Churchill, that he liked to amble around the cypress trees and lavender fields of South France, where he had a country home. Knowledge of personal details of her father's life helped the caregivers understand trigger points that would get him agitated and references that might please him. She began then compiling stories for other people and started a business that did just that provided stories for residents from memory care facilities. The profiles included personal anecdotes of the resident, photos, videos, recordings of their favorite songs. In this fall, she left her reporting job to pursue it full time. Research apparently shows that the quality of care increases and aggressive behavior decreases for long-term care patients whose caregivers are familiar with their life stories. But even well-trained caregivers can have a hard time breaking through to people whose memories are shrouded by dementia. And so this is just a wonderful story of writing people's life stories and putting it to a utilitarian use to make lives, improve the quality of people's lives.
What an extraordinary idea. You know what would be great with that? I mean, I think my mom, who had Alzheimer's, would have loved it, would have been including family videos.
Right. Yep, absolutely.
Putting together a video that the person, my mother, would have recognized it. Might not have known our names, but she would have known that it was part of, that she was part of it. But, everybody kind of needs some good news right now. So Christine Hauser at the New York Times had a story today about how the nation's zoos know you need to see cute animals right now. So, the news is grim. There's all kinds of things going on. Cell phones exploding, America divided, Mary Tyler Moore died, even the doomsday clock is approaching midnight. So she says, we thought you could use a break, whatever your politics, your fears, your troubles, and the nation's zoos agree. So she says, welcome to the great national cute animal tweet off of 2017. And apparently what happened was a new seal pup was born at the National Zoo in DC, and the baby's mother is a 33-year-old gray seal named Kara, and she set a record for being the oldest seal of her kind to give birth in a zoo. And they had a Facebook Live presentation of her ultrasound back in December.
Wow, that's a good idea.
So the good news there is that the seal's birth was a reminder that gray seals moved from the endangered list to being a species of least concern in 2016. And so the numbers have risen to more than 600,000 worldwide, and boy, are they cute. So that set off a whole ripple online and generated the hashtag cute animal tweet off. They grew into a viral phenomenon, and zoos posted photos of fuzzy, cute pandas and otters and orangutans and tigers, and there was even a baby turtle. And so there was Chester Zoo, Yorkshire Zoo, National Zoo, Maryland Zoo, London Zoo, and many others got involved in the tweet off, and we'll publish some of the pictures because, boy, are they cute.
That's wonderful. That's very wonderful. Don't have a transition, but this is a clever story. This is from an Adweek article by Tim Nudd. August Lotson is a young Danish art director who was looking for agency work in Sweden, but was not having any luck in his job search. He'd contacted all the big agencies in Stockholm and didn't get a single reply. So he decided to pose as a client looking for an agency. He sent a letter to creative directors at Swedish agencies explaining that he was a Danish firm looking to expand into the Swedish market. He dropped some big names in his letter. His letter directed people to emera.co. And once you go to the site, he reveals the bait and switch. He says on the site, creative directors don't always have time for new talent, but they always have time for new clients. So I decided to become one. He went on to pitch himself on the website. Emera is hire me backwards. So rather than feeling duped, Lotson tells Adweek that the creative directors he's heard from have been very positive, but there wasn't any word in the article about whether he's been hired by anyone yet. But that kind of creative, is a very creative idea. Certainly got his foot in the door. So
I love that. That's really fun. That's really fun. One time when I had my PR firm, we made little action figures of ourselves using bagels and sent them to with heads on them and sent them to a prospective client. And we got the account. So I have this in good news because I think it is, but I don't actually know the outcome. But Facebook reportedly blocked the Kremlin's Russia Today channel. And the source of this story was Raw Story. And my mouse is dying on me and I can't move. Read it too. Here we go. And the source for me was Scott Scowcroft, but the reporter's name is AJ Dellinger. And it went away, and then it came back, and then it's gone again. So who knows what its present? But they were blocked for copyright infringement, and then there was a big argument that went on, and who knows what happened. But it made me happy.
Yes, indeed. Facebook did announce today too that they are redoing their trending stories algorithm.
Oh, please.
And they say that everybody in the same geographic location, I don't remember what state or city, are going to see the same thing. So that's part of it. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I just saw the headline coming home from work today. So
what would be the point of that?
Well, it's not personalized. I don't know. I mean, the point might be their algorithm isn't very good and they can't figure out how to do it except for this.
Yeah, that does seem to be the case. So something really cool, a company called CloudGate, which is a VR studio, demonstrated a full body awareness in VR using two Vive systems and a controller in each hand, one attached to each foot. And then the user's entire body is recreated with dedicated hardware, and it has applications for multiplayer games and social apps and lots more. And there's a video that shows how they did it. And, you know, it's very cool.
And tailors?
Pardon?
And tailors?
Tailors?
Is a full body recreation of yourself? Can you send it off to your tailor?
Oh, maybe, you know, I don't know. Possibly.
So this is interesting. This is another story I had in the hopper and hadn't addressed a couple of episodes ago. This is a Business Insider article by Eugene Kim. Amazon is apparently building an app that matches truck drivers with shippers and Uber for trucking. The new service would deepen its presence in the $800 billion trucking industry, scheduled to launch this summer. Designed to make it easier for truckers to find shippers, it would eliminate the need for third-party brokers who can take a commission of about 15% typically. The app will offer real-time pricing and driving directions. Personalized features include truck stop recommendations, a suggested tour of loads to pick up and drop off, could have tracking and payment options to speed up the entire shipping process. It's apparently the latest in Amazon's rumored plan to become a full-scale logistics company that controls the entire delivery cycle. And if they did that, obviously it would make shipping more efficient and cheaper, not just for customers, but for Amazon itself. You think they control the purchase end, they control the from beginning shipping to the entire logistics chain. They're going to save some money and disrupt an industry in the process, probably.
Well, what industry haven't they disrupted?
Exactly.
You know, I'm trying to remember how long ago it was. I interviewed a guy from London, I believe, and he had a courier service that could do 1 hour delivery in any city. And he was at that time trying to sell it to somebody like Amazon or something like that. And I bet he's gotten quite wealthy these days. Everybody's doing that. So that brings us to bad news, huh?
No, one more good one,
okay.
And then we're off to bad news. This is a quick one. The Next Web, Abhimanyu Ghoshal, with the new iOS version 10.3, Apple is going to now allow developers to publicly respond to their reviews, so they can address issues and questions raised by users right on their app listings page. The users will be able to add star ratings from within the app, meaning they don't have to go to the App Store to do so. Apple's new API is going to allow developers to easily add the feature in their software. The next version of iOS will limit apps being able to ask for ratings up to a maximum of 3 times a year. So you're not going to be always interrupted within your app to ask for a review. And when you do, it's going to be easier to do so. So
I'm surprised they couldn't do that before.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So, you know, I kind of find this amusing, but it's in worse because it's so ridiculous. Trump's new press secretary, the much put upon Sean Spicer, has apparently been in a 5-year Twitter war against Dippin' Dots ice cream. This is from a New York Daily News story by Jason Silverstein, excuse me. And, you know, to me, like, you know, not liking ice cream is un-American. And apparently he's had this war with Dippin' Dots ice cream on Twitter. And My favorite one is his tweet that said, if Dippin' Dots was the ice cream of the future, they would not have run out of vanilla. Okay. and this went on and on and on. So Mike Isaac, excuse me, went back to like 2005 to 2010, 2015, excuse me, and he dug up the tweets. And one of them is, Dippin' Dots is not the ice cream of the future. I think I have said this before. Dippin' Dots was not the ice cream of the future. Ice cream of the past, Dippin' Dots.
Wow.
Yeah, and he went on and on and on. So, who knows what his future is going to be, but that's his past.
Wow. All right.
There's something about Dippin' Dots again this week. So what can I tell you?
Wow. So this past weekend, I recently moved to my new city of Chaska just over a year ago, and I finally got around to, as I am wont to do, finding out what my state representative's presence online looks like, because I do online research, so that's just a natural thing for me to do. So this weekend, I set aside some time to find my representative and my state senator and see what they looked like online. So Joe Hoppe is my state House of representative, and found his Twitter feed, and he looks like, pardon the pun, an ordinary Joe. He's just tweeting ordinary things, just retweeting a lot of stuff. One was people who drive slow in the left lane are the scourge of the earth.
That's
totally
true.
agree. Totally agree. Yep. And then I went to find my state senator's Twitter account. My senator is Dr. Scott Jensen. Found his Twitter account, and has less than 100 followers. So, that's not unusual for a state rep. But I came across a tweet that was posted on Saturday, January 21st. The tweet read, in Screw Tape Letters, C.S. Lewis looked at human behavior through the wrong end of the telescope. What might he say of protests full of meanness? And I'm like, I naturally assumed he was referring to the Women's March, since it was posted on the day of the Women's March. And so did one of Jensen's colleagues, who responded to the tweet by asking if he was referring to the Women's March. Jensen responded to his colleagues saying, no, referring to those events where private property is damaged and security people are injured and personal rights are infringed, which of course happened the day before on Inauguration Day, when there was some violence that broke out during protests. So I piped in, observing that was kind of weird that you posted that on the day of the Women's March rather than the day before, when the violence actually happened. And he replied that comments had nothing to do with Saturday, but pondered C.S. Lewis's reaction to previous events. And I replied that I took him at his word, look forward to continuing a constructive dialogue with him in the future, told him I was a constituent, and left it at that. Came back later, a little while later, to see if he'd responded, and found out that he had blocked me from his Twitter account. Me, a constituent, he blocked me from his Twitter account for this mild exchange with him. He'd also blocked his colleague, his Senate colleague in the state Senate. He blocked the guy who was in on the conversation, and he blocked a fellow Minnesotan who had piped in on the exchange as well. So apparently I get no representation in my state Senate.
Somehow I'm not surprised. Are they Democrats or Republicans?
Yeah, it turns out both of them are Republicans. But Joe, I'm fine with Joe. I'm fine with Joe. I have few issues with Senator Jensen.
Well, let's let him know.
Yeah.
So this week, Twitter had to apologize because when the POTUS Twitter handle went from Obama, who is now POTUS 44, to Trump, who is POTUS, what Twitter did, according to the Telegraph UK, David Millward's article, and then I read a lot about it, it was just all a bit much for Twitter, so they inadvertently transferred tens of thousands of Obama followers to become followers of Trump, including me. I don't want to follow Trump. So because of the glitch, you found yourself, you were still following the POTUS account, but this affected 14 million people. So Jack Dorsey was forced to say, this was a mistake. It isn't right. We own it. We apologize. No excuses. But 3 days later, I was still following Trump. I had to unfollow him. And I would guess that I wasn't the only one. And that's a pretty big mistake, Twitter.
Yeah, I turned out I was following, and I'd blocked him. I'd blocked him before, and I started following him again. So yeah.
Well, you have to wonder how many other times that's happened. You know?
I don't know.
What else you got, Dave?
I'm done with the worst.
Okay, well, there was a survey this week that said that people read news on Facebook, but they don't really trust it. This was a BuzzFeed story by Craig Silverman. And yeah, you shouldn't really trust it, and you should stop posting the stupid things you post without going to Snopes or factcheck.org and finding out if they are true. So, why are you reading your news on Facebook? Because it's in your face all the time. So that's what Facebook should stand for, in your face, and I don't think that people are going to stop getting their news there. But like when I see a story that I might be interested in, the first thing I do is go to Google it and see who's writing about it, because I figure whatever's there may or may not be the real story. So Facebook's got big algorithm issues.
Yeah, I saw that story as there's a lot of questions that remain about that survey. It's like, I would have liked to see crosstabs. I would have liked to see what there were, what sources you consider untrustworthy. Is it Facebook as a whole, just news within Facebook, or is it, so there's a lot of questions that remain from the survey.
My understanding was that it was news within Facebook, because there's been so much written now about fake news within Facebook. So I think that was the issue,
maybe it was just a reaction to all the news of that too, because whatever. It's a lot of questions.
But the clear thing is that Facebook really needs to own up to the fact that they are news media, and they have to start to treat it in a way that is really responsible, ethical, and journalistic. That's the bottom line. But apparently they hired some people to their staff who actually are journalists and who actually are researchers. So let's see what happens.
Yes, let's.
Now they're talking about Zuckerberg running for president, but I can't see how somebody who he's not charismatic. He already manages like 3 billion people, so why shouldn't he be president? But he's not charismatic.
That's scary in its own way, tell you the truth.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
So does that bring us to shiny objects, Dave?
It does. Let's get on to shiny objects. So I got a quick one. Right tag. So we've talked about Keyhole before as a keyword or a hashtag research tool, and it's really good for that. It gives you lots of cool analytics on the use of hashtags and everything. But it is a for-fee tool, and I hadn't found any that were decent that were for free until I came across Right Tag. So Right Tag is you can go to the site and just use the site righttag.com and do keyword research, but it's also a plugin. Browser extension, and they have a browser extension for Chrome and for Firefox and for Safari, and that's how obviously they gather all the data. You hook up your social media accounts to it, and so they're gathering information that way and getting their data through the use of all the extensions. But when you use it, you can, if you're typing in a status update, you include hashtags, and automatically there will be a bar at the bottom of your browser that appears that shows the hashtags and shows whether they're popular or not, whether there's something you want to take advantage of right now because it's hot, or something that you gain traction of over the long term. So interesting, cool little tool to try out.
That sounds like Video IQ that we use on YouTube.
Yep, right.
Yeah, only for copy. I like that. I'm going to try that. So I got a release this week about Campus Disco, which is a free app aimed at students. And it launched yesterday, and it's for college students to have easy access to what they want and need with their digital accounts. So it's a free app for iPhone, and excuse me, it has access to discounts and deals from brands and retailers that kids like, and they have to log in with an EDU address, so that they do in fact have to be students. And according to Refuel, college students are a really influential group of consumers. with trend-setting power and spending of $545 billion annually. So Julie Jetlow, who's the founder and CEO of Campus Disco, says every brand should consider offering discounts to college students. And so some of the brands they have on there are iTunes, Topshop, Staples, and they're prioritizing the college market so that it'll be a win-win for everybody. And you can download it in the App Store, and it looks pretty cool, actually.
I thought you were going to say it's an app that gives students easy access to disco music,
yeah, well, when I saw
which
the
would
name,
have been a disaster.
yeah, really. When I saw the name, I thought that's what it was, and I didn't read it. And then she came back and said, "Did you read my?" And I looked at it again, and I'm like, "Oh, that's actually cool." So, so I believe that brings us to the end of the show, does it not?
All right, let's wrap it up.
Oh, you have to do daily numbers, Dave.
Daily numbers, yep. I got search data. This is from Forrester survey. Search channels used by American digital shoppers during the purchase process by stage. That's a mouthful, but the types of search channels people use during the sort of buyer's journey. So during the discovery process, 71% of people use a search engine, proper Google. 64% search on retailer sites, and 20% use social search. During the consideration or purchase stage, 74% use search engines, 65% use a retailer search, and 14% use social search. During the post-purchase engagement stage, 51% use search engines, 45% use retailer search, and 13% use social search. So social search is not a big thing.
That's surprising because I do use it a lot. And everybody's always said, you know, everybody makes their purchase based on what their friends recommend. I think that's still so. I think you still ask your friends before you start going to do whatever you're going to do.
But searching for product information within social channels, I think is, I mean, Facebook search is crap. I mean, it's just,
it's total.
It's crap.
Yeah.
Twitter is, there's not enough information in there in tweets to really make it useful for shopping stuff.
YouTube is pretty cool though, because a lot of times there's, you know, people talking about the products and
I don't consider YouTube a social channel. I mean, there's social aspects to it, but
they're trying to make it one, but that's a whole other story, you know?
Right.
So that brings us to the end of episode 172 of the Beyond Social Media Show. And you'll find links to everything we talked about on our blog, beyondsocialmediashow.com/172. And you can leave us a review there and let us know what you think. And if you want to find David Erickson online, he is at D. Erickson on Twitter. He blogs at estrategyblog.com and creativepr.com/blog, both of which are seriously terrific. And I'm BL OCHMAN, and I am at What's Next on Twitter. I blog at What's Next blog and Paw Fun blog. And I'm on YouTube at What's Next blog. The show online is beyondsocialmediashow.com. On Twitter, we're at BS Media. And you will find us on YouTube, Beyond Social Media Show. And we are on iHeartRadio, we're on Stitcher, and we're on iTunes. So you can download the audio portion of the show in any of those places. And you can see the video on our blog, and it will be annotated so that you're able to click on the time that a story occurred during the show, and it will take you directly to that part of the video. And we'll be back next week, same time, same station. And thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.